Hi, my name is Kyle, and I manage properties with McCall Property Management throughout Dallas-Fort Worth. One of the things that we do is we have an HVAC company go out and service AC units twice a year, seasonal fix and tune up, I guess you'd call it. But we use Keller Services. They're based out of Keller, Texas, and they service all of Dallas-Fort Worth also. And Brian, the owner, tell me what is a seasonal tune-up that you do for us?
Basically, we check the basic operation of the system. Is the thermostat coming on when it's supposed to, going off when it's supposed to? Is the temperature right? We basically open up the system. We look at the evaporator coil. We look at the filter. If the filter's been changed, we just let it go. Mm-hmm. If it needs to be changed, we go ahead and replace the filter just because it's the right thing to do. Mm-hmm. As we change a filter, we look at the evaporator coil. If it's dirty, we got a cleaner that we actually spray on it. Now, it doesn't really clean the coil. It just kind of degreases it.
Okay, kind of knocks it off a little bit.
Kind of knocks it off a little bit.
Okay.
As it condensates, it will keep on cleaning. We pour water in the drain line. Mm-hmm. We make sure that the drain line is free mm-hmm. and clear, and that it is draining, of course. It can back up.
Well, that's worth having you out anyway, because I know when that backs up, it gets all over the floor, which could be an expensive
correct
thing to
a costly
address.
Right. Like I say, we look at the coil, we look at the blower wheel, we check the bearings to see if there's any play in the bearings. If there's play in the bearings, that means pretty soon the blower motor, within a year, usually goes out. We also, most all your motors nowadays are sealed. On your older units, they have ports that need to be oiled, so we oil the motors. Sometimes we can get to these blower wheels and look inside and see if one's coming apart. Normally we spin it mm-hmm. and just feel because blower wheels do come apart. Mm-hmm. So we check that. We check the amps. We check all of these high volt connections here. We check, make sure they're tight, make sure there's no discoloration, because if there's discoloration, there's probably going to be a problem with it, loose connection or something. Need to cut it back, reconnect it. In the heat side, we check all the amps, check your safeties, make sure your safeties are working. This is electric. On the furnace side, we check, make sure there's no CO2, mm-hmm. make sure there's not a cracked heat exchanger.
Now this morning you talked to me about one of my houses that I own, that it's a relatively new unit that we put in a few years ago before we started using you, and you noticed something on the property that it could be a problem later on. I think it was a crimped line that could add extra strain on the system, which would challenge it. So
basically, this unit was running high head pressure. This is another thing we do. We check and monitor the refrigeration side of it. This one was running extremely high head pressure due to a restriction at the metering device, which needed to be cleared. Basically, if that continues to run like that, especially during the summer, it will end up taking out a compressor.
So to give a little background, we used to not require HVAC system tune-ups for our properties. And I was one of those guilty parties. I had a great home with great tenants. They paid the rent early every month. The home, I went over, it was beautiful, spotless. You cleaned everything, but they never changed the air filter. I found that out after they moved out after 3 years. And when I had to go selling the property, when I went to go sell it, the AC system was shot, and I had to replace the whole system, which was thousands of dollars. But I could have negated that whole expense by having your company out twice a year for 3 years. So a couple $100 could have saved me several thousands of dollars. So that's why we look at doing seasonal tune-ups for all our properties, because we're all about protecting the investment. And in a house, the HVAC system is one of the most expensive expenses that we have in a house. So that's why you do all my houses. I appreciate it. Thanks for bringing those to my attention.